what happened to all the other humans? 50,000 years ago, we weren't alone. At least 8 human species walked the earth. Neanderthals were stocky and strong, with massive brow ridges and brains as large or even larger than ours. They were sophisticated hunters who used fire, buried their dead, and perhaps even created art. To the east, Denisovans, known mostly through genetic evidence and a few fragmentary fossils, inhabited the highlands of Central and East Asia. In Southeast Asia, the diminutive Homo floresiensis, standing just over a meter tall, thrived in island environments, possibly developing unique survival strategies due to isolation. Homo erectus, the earliest known human species to leave Africa, endured for over 1.5 million years, far longer than Homo sapiens has existed so far. But over the course of just a few thousand years, every other human species disappeared. Only we, Homo sapiens, remained. This mass disappearance wasn't spread out over millions of years. It happened fast. Did we outsmart them? Did we outlive them? Or did we wipe them out? Coincidence or conquest? As Homo sapiens expanded out of Africa around 60,000 years ago, they entered regions already occupied by other human species. These weren't first-time visitors. They were intruding into well-established homelands. Yet archaeologists find a repeating pattern. After our arrival within a few millennia, those other species vanished. This timeline is too tight, too consistent to ignore. Neanderthals, for example, had survived multiple ice ages in Europe, successfully adapting to brutal cold and fluctuating environments for over 300,000 years. Then Homo sapiens arrived, and they were gone in 10,000. In island Southeast Asia, Homo floresiensis had existed for over 100,000 years, and then disappeared shortly after our ancestors reached the area. The Denisovans may have thrived in rugged, high-altitude areas, but their fossil record stops after Homo sapiens began arriving in Central Asia. Theories vary. Some researchers argue we may have simply had more efficient social structures, larger, more interconnected groups with more complex communication. Others suggest that our adaptability allowed us to thrive in rapidly changing climates while other species couldn't adjust fast enough. Still, there's another theory, one that suggests this wasn't natural selection at all. It might have been us, actively or indirectly driving others to extinction. The theory of extermination. Could Homo sapiens have been responsible for wiping out their relatives? The theory of active extermination is controversial but compelling. When we look at technological differences, Homo sapiens appear to have had the edge. Our ancestors developed more sophisticated stone tools, long-range projectile weapons, and organized hunting strategies. We mastered fire in more flexible ways and possibly developed complex symbolic language earlier than others. These advantages wouldn't just help in survival, they would help in domination. Some sites show Neanderthal remains with trauma that could suggest violent conflict. Others suggest displacement, Neanderthals abandoning territory shortly after Homo sapiens arrived, never to return. While there's no definitive evidence of large-scale war, it's entirely possible that repeated small-scale conflicts over hunting grounds, fresh water, or shelter accumulated over generations, pushing other species to the brink. Add to this the spread of disease. Modern humans migrating out of Africa may have brought with them pathogens that devastated isolated populations, much like what happened when Europeans arrived in the Americas thousands of years later. In the ancient world, contact with a new group could be lethal not only from violence, but from biology. A twist. And yet, the story isn't as black and white as total conquest. In the 21st century, DNA testing has revealed something astonishing: interbreeding. Instead of annihilating the other species completely, our ancestors mated with them. This wasn't rare or isolated, it was significant. Up to 2% of the genome in people of European or Asian descent comes from Neanderthals. Some populations in Southeast Asia carry up to 5% Denisovan DNA. Certain genes we inherited from these ancient species influence how our immune system works, how our bodies process fat, even how we respond to disease. This changes the narrative. Instead of total extermination, perhaps the truth is that other human species were partially absorbed. They didn't vanish completely. They live on within us. They're not our lost cousins. They're part of our ancestry. Still, interbreeding wasn't enough to preserve them as distinct species. Eventually, Homo sapiens became the only name left on the tree of humanity. Why? Why it matters today. The extinction of the other human species isn't just an ancient mystery, it's a mirror. It forces us to ask, what kind of species are we? Survivors, innovators, or aggressors? Perhaps all three. Our success came at a cost, and understanding that cost could help us understand ourselves. Today, we are the sole inheritors of the human legacy. But our dominance hasn't made us immune to danger. Climate collapse, global pandemics, and artificial intelligence threaten the future we've built. History shows that no species is guaranteed survival, even one as successful as ours. If we don't learn from the past, we may follow the same fate as our ancestors, not because of someone else, but because of ourselves. The way Homo sapiens replaced others might have been shaped by desperation, fear, or necessity. But now, with the power we wield, we face a new kind of test. Not whether we can survive others, but whether we can survive ourselves.